Hey guys, this is Abhishek Raj, verbal expert at e-GMAT. As promised, I am back with yet another interesting find. And the topic for today is pronouns. Now, a popular question we subject matter experts get asked very frequently is, when is a pronoun truly considered ambiguous? Now, if you wish to solve 700 level SC questions on pronouns with confidence, then you must master the concept that I have for you today. So without further ado, let's begin. Now let's start by taking a look at one such example of an SC question on pronouns. Now as you can see, this sentence contains the pronoun, the plural pronoun, they. And what's more is, there are two potential antecedents of this pronoun. In other words, two plural nouns, tracks and dinosaurs. So the question at hand is this pronoun ambiguous, or is this sentence wrong because it has a pronoun error in it? Now while you think about that, let me quickly show you the official question from which I have taken this sentence. If you have not solved this question yet, now would be a good time to pause this video and give this question a shot. Now, let's take a look at what the statistics have to say. Of all the people who've attempted this question on GMAT Club, only 44% have gotten it correct. In other words, a whopping 56% get this question incorrect. Or a whopping 56% eliminate answer choice D, the correct answer. Now, if you analyze D in further detail, you will realize that the sole reason why students eliminate D is because they feel that this pronoun they has been used ambiguously. So this highlights the severity of this problem. We all know that the GMAT is a little iffy when it comes to pronouns. So sit up and take note, because I'm now going to discuss the rule which is going to solve all your problems when it comes to pronouns. Let's take a look. Now, when it comes to the use of pronouns, there is only one principal rule. And that is, a pronoun must have only one clear and logical antecedent. Now, I'm sure you must have seen questions in which the pronoun refers to the immediately preceding noun. Sometimes it refers to the subject of the preceding clause. And then sometimes it refers to a noun that appears much later in the sentence. Now, because of the possibility of so many different conflicting scenarios, it is only logical to expect a student to get confused. So anytime a student finds a pronoun in a sentence with multiple potential antecedents, the question of ambiguity invariably pops up in his or her mind. So I'm going to now, with a few examples, explain how to apply this rule. And I'm also going to give you a tool, a framework you can apply to get out of any tight situation. In other words, a framework you can apply to easy or hard questions and with 100% accuracy figure out whether the pronoun is ambiguous or not. Excited? Let's take a look. Let's start with a very simple example of an ambiguous pronoun. Jenna and Olivia went to the park after she had finished her chores. Now this is a very, very simple example, and I'm sure you're already screaming, hey, the pronoun here is ambiguous. Let's highlight these words. So the pronoun here is she, and we also have a possessive her, and coincidentally we also have two potential antecedents, Jenna and Olivia. So is this sentence ambiguous? Yes, it is. But how do we make sure of this fact? Simple. Apply the following framework. All you need to do is substitute a pronoun with all its potential antecedents one by one and see whether there are more than one possible logical idea. For example, Jenna and Olivia went to the park after Jenna had finished Jenna's chores. Ask yourself, does this make sense? Sure it does. So case 1 is possible. Now, let's make a small change. Jenna and Olivia went to the park after Jenna had finished Olivia's chores. Does that make sense? It certainly does. Now, let's change Jenna to Olivia here and see what happens. Jenna and Olivia went to the park after Olivia had finished her own chores. That makes sense. But it's a third possible idea. And last but not least, Jenna and Olivia went to the park after Olivia had finished Jenna's chores. As you can see, there are 4 possible distinct ideas that can be created out of this one sentence. What does that mean with respect to GMAT sentence correction? Well, it means that this sentence does not have one clear intended meaning. There are 4 possible intended meanings of this author, and it is impossible to figure out which of the 4 the author would like to stick with. And that is why this is considered a definitely incorrect sentence, because of the use of ambiguous pronouns. You see how simple it was? Let's apply this quickly to another example. When Tony dropped his iPad on the glass floor, it cracked. Interesting. So we have the pronoun it here, and let's see how many potential antecedents there are. Definitely the iPad, and definitely the glass floor. So what do you think? Is this ambiguous? In other words, which of these 2 things cracked? Let's apply the framework, shall we? When Tony dropped his iPad on the glass floor, the iPad cracked. Does it make sense? Sure it does. So we know there is one possible logical idea. Case 2. When Tony dropped his iPad on the glass floor, the glass floor cracked. That makes equally good sense. As you can see, there are 2 possible intended meanings of this one sentence. This means this sentence is incorrect because the pronoun it is definitely ambiguous. Now let's take a look at a pronoun used correctly or unambiguously. The glass floor cracked when Tony dropped his iPad on it. Now, another very interesting sentence. Once again, we see the pronoun it. And we see 2 potential antecedents, the glass floor and iPad. But just because there are 2 potential antecedents preceding the pronoun it, does that mean that it is automatically ambiguous? Well, as I said, apply the framework. So let's do that. The glass floor cracked when Tony dropped his iPad on the glass floor. Case 1. Does this make sense? Sure, it makes perfectly good sense that the floor cracked when the iPad was dropped on it. No problems there. Now let's look at case 2. The glass floor cracked when Tony dropped his iPad on his iPad. Does that make any sense? How do you drop your iPad on your iPad? Clearly that's absurd. So the second case has no sense whatsoever. This means that this sentence has only one possible interpretation, and this means that the original sentence was indeed correct and the pronoun has not been used ambiguously. Now, if you compare this sentence with the previous sentence or example 2 at the bottom, you will see that the words are essentially the same. We have only restructured the sentence, and we've restructured it in a way that is grammatically correct. And this is one of the classic traps that the GMAT uses. Wasn't this interesting? Alright, now let's summarize what we have learned. So we have seen that a pronoun must have one clear and logical antecedent, right? This is very, very important. Only one clear and logical antecedent. And what we've also seen is that there is a framework we can apply. all we need to do to check whether the pronoun is ambiguous is to substitute that pronoun with the potential antecedents one by one to see how many possible ideas, logical ideas, can be created. In other words, we're basically checking for ambiguity. Alright? Now, let's apply this to a couple of complex examples. But before that, I'd like to take a second to request you to please, in the comments, respond with your feedback on how you're liking this session, this presentation. Do you like my style of teaching? Are there things that I can do better? I would love to hear from you and find any way to enhance your learning. Also, if you're finding the content that I'm sharing with you useful, then please hit that subscribe button, because we come out with this content, such interesting finds every week, and you do not want to miss them. Alright, now let's quickly dive into this example and apply the framework to check whether the pronoun is ambiguous or not. Come on, do it with me. The UV radiation emitted by the sun is highly dangerous because it has a very low wavelength. Okay, I've spotted the pronoun, it's it, and I see that the potential antecedents are radiation and sun, two singular nouns, and we also have wavelength at the end, so let's also consider this third word. Now we're going to apply the framework, so we're going to substitute the word it with each of these nouns 1, 2 and 3 one by one to see how many possible logical ideas exist. Alright, let's start. The UV radiation emitted by the sun is highly dangerous because the UV radiation has a very low wavelength. Clearly, this makes sense. Now let's look at case 2. The UV radiation emitted by the sun is highly dangerous because the sun has a very low wavelength. Does that make sense? We know the sun's radiation can have wavelength, but does the sun itself have a wavelength? I think that disagrees with common sense, right? Okay, let's look at case 3. The UV radiation emitted by the sun is highly dangerous because the wavelength has a very low wavelength. I think we can very easily eliminate case 3 because it's purely nonsensical. As you can see, there's only one possible logical idea of this sentence or interpretation of this sentence. So the pronoun it is actually correct, and such a sentence would not be considered ambiguous. Let's go to one more example. Here you go. Let's do this together. A solar flare emitted by the sun can destroy a communications satellite because scientists estimated that its temperature is high enough to accelerate further damage. That's quite a mouthful, but I have spotted the pronoun, have you? Well, it's a possessive, it's. Now, how many potential antecedents are there? Okay, so we're looking for singular inanimate nouns, so we have solar flare, we have the sun, we have a communication satellite because scientists estimated that its temperature is high enough to accelerate further damage. Okay, maybe damage. We wouldn't take temperature because that's too easy to eliminate. Alright, so let's look at these cases one by one. Let's name them 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so case 1, case 2, case 3 and case 4. Let's start. A solar flare emitted by the sun can destroy a communication satellite because scientists estimated that the solar flare's temperature is high enough to accelerate further damage. I think that makes perfectly good sense. So let's keep one. Case 2. A solar flare emitted by the sun can destroy a communication satellite because scientists estimated that the sun's temperature is high enough to accelerate further damage. Okay, so if the sun has a very high temperature, then naturally the flare would also have a very high temperature, right? So, I mean, of course, this seems like a slightly less logical idea, but it is still, nevertheless, a logical idea. So, 2 also makes some sense, if not perfectly good sense. Let's read on. Case 3. A solar flare emitted by the sun can destroy a communication satellite because scientists estimated that the satellite's temperature is high enough to accelerate further damage. Okay, so the satellite is already hot enough, and when it is hit by a solar flare on top of that, it could suffer further damage. So case 3 makes even better sense than 2, probably as good sense as 1 makes. Now the last one, a solar flare emitted by the sun can destroy a communication satellite because scientists estimated that the damages temperature. Okay, so I don't think we need to entertain this choice too much because damages temperature makes no sense whatsoever. But as you can see, there are still 3 possible logical ideas, of which 2 make actually very good sense. So clearly this sentence has multiple possible interpretations, and so we can safely say that this possessive its has been used incorrectly. So there you have it, guys. Now we can come back to this official question, and let's focus or dive straight away into choice D and apply the framework that we have just learned. Okay, so let's do that again. Let's first find the pronoun. As you already know that the pronoun is they, and the 2 potential antecedents are tracks and dinosaurs. So that leaves us with 2 cases, 1 and 2, which we are now going to evaluate logically. Okay, so case 1. The tracks that dinosaurs left show that the tracks walked with their feet directly under their bodies. Okay, so this doesn't make much sense, does it? How can tracks walk with their feet? Tracks, first of all, don't walk, nor do they have feet, so 1 is actually pretty illogical. Alright, let's apply case 2. The tracks that dinosaurs left show that dinosaurs walked with their feet directly under their bodies. This makes a lot of sense. Now, as you can see, there is only 1 possible interpretation to the sentence. This means that the pronoun they has been used correctly. It is not ambiguous just because there are 2 potential antecedents for this pronoun. I hope you see how easy it is to apply this framework. Let's quickly summarize the takeaways from today's session. A pronoun must have only 1 clear and logical antecedent. And always remember the tool or framework. All you have to do is substitute the pronoun with all the potential antecedents one by one to check for multiple interpretations, or in other words, for ambiguity. Okay guys, now as always I'm going to leave you with an exercise, something to practice, so that you're able to cement the concept that has been explained today. This is another popular official sentence. It has been taken from a popular SC question, which I will share to you later in the comments. But what I want you to do is I want you to identify the pronoun here and check this sentence solely for pronoun ambiguity. If you think the pronoun is ambiguous, in the comments type ambiguous. If you think it is not, type unambiguous. I'll be looking forward to comments, and I'll be giving you the answers and explanations to you in the comments itself. Well, there you have it. This brings me to the end of this presentation. I truly hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I will be back again next week with yet another interesting find. Until then, happy learning.